Manchester United didn't just beat Brighton, they buried a bogey team and proved Amorim's system can win big. Hello there and welcome to Devil's Roundup. We're Abby and Luke and we're incredibly excited to have you with us.
Yeah, absolutely thrilled. It was quite the game, wasn't it? Chaotic, definitely beautiful at times, and just so important. So for this deep dive, we're really going to take our time, get stuck into what that 4-2 win over Brighton on the 25th of October actually means.
Yeah, it's more than just the 3 points, isn't it? We need to unpack how we won.
Exactly. And then we'll look ahead to, well, another big test against Nottingham Forest this Saturday, the 1st of November.
And look, if you're just jumping in now, hitting that subscribe button means you won't miss any of our United previews and reviews. Honestly, after that Brighton match, you'll want to hear this breakdown.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So starting off, you just have to frame this win as, well, a really significant moment for Ruben Amorim, don't you think?
Oh, totally. Psychologically, strategically, getting that third Premier League win on the bounce is massive.
It is. It's actually our longest league-winning run under him so far. It kind of feels like the team is properly clicking with his methods now, consistently.
And you feel that progress, right? We're up to 6 now, 16 points from 9 games. But like you said, it's the feeling around this win, that emotional weight.
That's the key part, the confidence context. Brighton, well, they'd become this notorious bogey team for us.
Hadn't they just? 6 defeats in the last 7 league games against them. That's grim reading.
It really is. And they came to Old Trafford looking for a 4th straight win there. Imagine how demoralizing that would have been.
Oh, don't.
So breaking that specific curse against that team, a team that really knew how to frustrate us, it says a lot about the growing mental resilience in this squad.
We absolutely had to start fast, didn't we? To stop that old familiar dread creeping in. That early attacking pressure was just vital.
Spot on. It settled everyone down. And the breakthrough, 24 minutes in, Matthias Cunha. What a moment for him.
Oh, fantastic. And so needed for him personally. His first goal since coming from Wolves, real composure, shifted it onto his right, curled it right into the corner, just the quality we needed against their press.
And then, bang, 10 minutes later, Casemiro makes it 2. Bit of a deflection maybe, but
they all count.
They certainly do. And getting that second from midfield, it just gave us that breathing room. You need that cushion with Amorim's system sometimes.
Definitely. And then Brian Mbeumo slots home just after the hour mark, 3-0. Game over, you think?
At that point, yeah, the psychological pressure just seemed to evaporate. We looked in, well, complete control. Flowing forward, vertical, clinical, just like Amorim wants.
Right, that clinical edge. That's where we need to dig into the stats, I think, because this is where it gets really interesting, the whole XG masterclass idea.
Exactly, because watching it live, you probably felt Brighton had quite a bit of the ball, maybe controlled the tempo.
Yeah, it didn't feel like total domination from us, possession-wise.
And it wasn't. We only had 43% possession. Brighton had 57%.
Yeah.
That confirms it. The win came from, well, extreme efficiency, that vertical football. That's the Amorim way. It was a deliberate counterattacking approach.
Okay, so let's get into this expected goals thing, the XG. For anyone listening who maybe doesn't follow it super closely, it basically measures chance quality, right?
Yeah, pretty much. How likely you are to score from the shots you take. Normally you score 4. Your XG is probably around, I don't know, 3, maybe higher.
But that wasn't the case here at all.
Not even close. Our XG was just 1.29. Brighton's was 1.2 on. So based purely on the chances created, statistics would predict maybe a 1-1 draw.
Wow. So 4 goals from 1.29 XG. That's an overperformance of plus 2.71 goals. That's huge.
It's massive.
So the big question then, is that sustainable? Is it a system working perfectly, or are we just relying on, incredible finishing that might not happen every week? A bit of luck.
Amorim's 3-4-2-1, with those high wing backs and the 2 number 10s roaming. It's designed to bypass midfield battles, get the ball forward quickly.
Fewer shots, but better ones in theory.
Precisely. Sacrifice quantity for quality, especially in those transition moments.
Yeah.
And look, the accuracy backs it up this time. 69% accuracy, 9 shots on target from 13 attempts. Brighton. Only 29% accuracy, 5 on target from 17 shots.
So that really does suggest we were far more incisive. It validates the runs Cunha and Mbeumo were making.
I think so. The argument is it's not just luck. It's about creating high-quality chances when the defense is maybe scrambling back, disorganized from that quick transition. It's about training for that ruthlessness.
And Cunha and Mbeumo certainly showed that, both rated 8-10 apparently. That's the standard needed for this high-risk, high-reward approach to actually pay off consistently.
Yeah, it shows we don't necessarily need loads of chances, just convert the good ones we make.
Okay, but that brings us neatly, maybe slightly nervously, to the other side of the coin, the last part of the match. That cost of complacency.
Yeah.
Because that control just vanished.
It did. The starting plan worked brilliantly, but the game nearly unraveled after those subs. Subs that seemed designed just to manage minutes, not necessarily lock down the game.
Oh, I know. Watching those last 15 minutes, seeing us lose shape, that familiar anxiety definitely started creeping back in. It really kicked off after Shaw went off around 64 minutes.
Yeah, and then the big one. Casemiro replaced by Man Utd at 70 minutes.
Yeah, that was it, wasn't it?
That was the moment the structure just seemed to wobble.
Yep.
Casemiro isn't just a DM, is he? In this system, he's the shield, the anchor who sits. When he left, that central compactness just went.
Manu's a great young player, loads of potential.
Absolutely fantastic prospect.
Yeah.
But his instincts are maybe a bit more progressive, natural, wants to get forward. Replacing your main defensive anchor with him when you're 3-0 up and try to see out a game, maybe not the most conservative move.
It felt like a gamble that didn't pay off defensively, and it led straight to individual mistakes. Patrick Dorgu, who had a tough game, rated 410. He gave away that silly foul right on the edge of the box.
Yep, and Welbeck produces a moment of magic from the free kick. 74 minutes, 3-1. Suddenly, game on again.
And then the second goal conceded. Injury time. Joshua Zirkzee, rated 410, loses his man from a corner. Kostulas heads it in. 4-2. Way too close for comfort.
It really highlights the depth issue, doesn't it? The drop-off when key players, especially defensive ones, are rotated out. Those low ratings for Dorgu and Zirkzee show that direct link between their errors and the goals.
And the stats backed up that feeling of being under pressure late on. We conceded 6 corners to their 1. That just shows they were pinning us back, and our set-piece defending looked shaky again once we were forced deep.
So, the lesson for Amorim seems pretty clear. The starting system is potent, devastating even. But the game management, particularly substitutions when protecting a lead, needs a bit more. Caution, maybe. You can't afford to lose that defensive structure so easily.
By the way, if you're enjoying this discussion, sharing it with fellow Red Devils is a great way to keep the conversation going about our results. Let's shift focus now. Look ahead to Forest, because the media reaction to the Brighton game will play into this one, I reckon.
Yeah, some outlets will focus on the late scare, maybe downplay the overall 4-2 win and what it meant psychologically.
Yeah.
We need to focus on the data, the performance over 70 minutes, and then address that wobble.
So, Nottingham Forest. We go to the City Ground this Saturday, November 1st, and, well, they're in a really bad spot.
They really are. It's crisis time for them. 18th place, deep in the relegation zone, only 5 points all season. Goal difference of -12 after 9 games. Ouch.
Drop-off, isn't it, considering they finished 7th last season, 2024-25. That was impressive. And they just lost again, 2-0 to Bournemouth. That's 3 defeats in a row now.
Which presents this interesting tactical puzzle for their manager. Last season's success was built on a very specific style. Low block, direct, counterattacking, deny space centrally, be strong in the air.
That sounds kind of perfect for frustrating our 3-4-2-1, actually. Especially if we rely on crosses from the wingbacks.
It could be. That low block, if they execute it well, could really stifle us. But here's the thing. They're currently playing a 4-2-3-1 that just isn't working. It seems to undermine their defensive strengths.
So the question is, do they stick with the failing system, or does desperation force them back to the approach that actually worked for them last season, even if it's more defensive?
Exactly, which makes this a high-pressure game for us. For Amorim, a dominant win against a side in the relegation zone is almost expected now to keep validating the system, keep the positive momentum going.
And avoid that here we go again narrative if we struggle to break them down.
We absolutely have to find ways through if they do sit deep. It can't just be crosses into the box hoping for the best. We'll need clever movement, quick combinations centrally between those 10s and Cunha, positional rotation to pull them apart. It seems likely. We just need to make sure we're the ones creating and taking that moment. Be clinical again.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. The Brighton win. Massive validation for the tactical approach. Hyper-efficiency, verticality, clinical finishing, that's the good stuff. We know it can work even against tough bogey teams.
But the core lesson, the bad, perhaps, is that defensive depth and maintaining positional discipline, especially from the rotation players, is absolutely crucial. The structure can't collapse so easily when key players like Casemiro come off. That needs attention.
Which leaves us with the big question for the weekend, doesn't it? Can Amorim tweak his game management, make those in-game adjustments to secure a really dominant, comfortable win against Forest?
Or will those potential vulnerabilities in the 3-4-2-1, especially in defense or when trying to break down a deep block, cost us again? Will we concede needlessly, even if we win?
We'll find out Saturday at the City Ground. It's going to be fascinating.
It definitely is.
Hope you enjoyed our breakdown. Don't forget to subscribe for next week's review and preview airing next Friday. And sharing this episode with friends helps us keep the podcast alive. Thanks for listening.